So, actually, let's go back to that one. For those of you who've seen the film before, or even if you're just seeing it for the first time, did you pick up on anything in that first scene that you thought was significant? Something in the exchange, something that, I think Coppola's up to something there. Because when I try to teach film studies, I approach it very much as I do what I was trained in literature studies, which is, it's all very good to be able to say, I saw a movie. I saw this movie, it was about Italian-American mafia people, right? That's just narrative. But we're in a university, so we should be able to take the next step in our discussions, and we should say something more like, hey, Francis Ford Coppola. In this opening scene of The Godfather, we can see a director who's interested in what? What are some of the things you see him as a filmmaker interested in there? And you don't have to be an expert in film. Just, take a stab at it. Anyone, just raise your hand and talk. Yeah, hi, what's your name?
Abraham.
Abraham.
Yeah, so it seems like respect was really emphasized, and Don Corleone really cared about that. It wasn't until the guy Bonacera kissed his hand that he felt that respect, and he's like, okay, then I'll do this for you.
When the Godfather puts the cat down and gets up, you almost think he's going to slap Bonacera around, right? Because Bonacera made the biggest mistake you can make when you're talking about honor. He brought up money, right? Bonacera said, how much money can I pay you so you can beat up the dudes that hurt my daughter? And those are not the words. Money is involved with the Corleone family. They're a huge family. Importers, exporters of olive oil. They run prostitutes. They run gambling. But they have this essential old school order of things, which has to do with respect and friendship. I mean, Bonacera's biggest mistake was to stay away, but he was scared. He just wanted to be a good guy, do things right. The cops will help me. The lawyers in the courts will be there. We will find justice. But no. The Godfather, the movie by Francis Ford Coppola, begins with the sharing of a story by a character who's very, very small part of the film. He's going to come back again at a key moment. But what's interesting here is just the way Coppola and Willis frame this very little man. He's a little man, right? Small shoulders. He's sitting in the dark. And then from the shadows emerges Marlon Brando. And when an actor like Marlon Brando, who had been out of Hollywood for a while, came back in The Godfather, it was a huge deal. And that's another thing when you're studying film. Yes, it's Vito Corleone, the head of the mafia family, named the Corleone, the head of the mafia. But he's also Marlon Brando. That is, his celebrity, we have to take account of it as we read the film. It was something about this confluence of the story of family and honor and violence and identity, coupled with the celebrity of someone like a Brando, that allowed for The Godfather to become the mega hit that it did. Any questions or comments or something you saw that we haven't talked about that you want to bring up? I think I'm talking more with my hands because, I'm getting in touch with Guglielmo. Yes, Eric.
Yeah, I absolutely love, and now I think it's interesting. I think there's very, very first words when he says, well, why'd you go to the police? Which is part Bonacera messed up huge and kind of gangster culture. You would never do that. Immigrant culture, back when a young Vito, you would never do that.
Can't go to the police.
And even at today's headlines, what's going on? I think that was interesting, very first choice of words for Vito.
Yeah. Why'd you go to the police?
Why'd you go to the cops?
Yeah, why'd you go to the cops? Right. Because it's almost, he's dealing with aliens, right?
Huge no-no.
Right.
Big.
Okay. Yes. What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony.
I think a lot of this too is this scene alludes to the Corleone's place in the community. this whole thing is just kind of giving you a setting. This is how they relate to the other Italians in the community, and this is their job and their responsibility.
Okay.
This is what they do.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Yes.
One thing I noticed was when you put the cat down and you got up, the other family members in the room also moved. So that's a good point that also shows throughout the rest of the film when one person moves.
Oh, they make way. Like he will choose his space. Because those are his sons. Well, it's Tom Hagan, his adopted son, and Santino, James Caan, his other son. And they're learning on the periphery. They're watching and assisting. Yeah, Anthony? No? Okay. All right. Let's go to the next scene. I had a very hard time picking the scenes because they're very good. I don't have it keyed, but in the first few minutes when we get to the wedding, one of the last people to get to the wedding is Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino. And in a very real way, he's actually the main character of the Godfather trilogy. You think it's Vito Corleone, you think it's Marlon Brando. But in classic terms, there's a word I want to introduce to you. It's one of those dim, all on. I think I'll put it over here. Yeah. In literature, we ripped off this word from the Germans in literary studies, and it's called the Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman. B-I-L-D-U-N, Bildung. Bildungsroman. B-I-L-D-U-N-G-S-R-O-M-A-N. Bildungsroman. And a Bildungsroman is a novel that follows a coming-of-age story. It follows a young person from their evolution from child, either to catastrophe or to heroics, or sometimes to heroics and then catastrophe. You know novels. They have a trajectory. And The Godfather very much is a Bildungsroman, focused not so much on Corleone, the Godfather, but on the evolution of his son, the war hero, Michael Corleone, who the Godfather has vowed will not become part of the family business, will not become a mafioso. Yes, Anthony?
Why is that so much a theme in the literature that we're reading? Because Christ in Concrete was the same thing, where you have this father who wants nothing but the best for their son, but no matter what they do, they're like doomed to repeat the cycle and follow in their footsteps. It's
a classic tragedy. It's an old paradigm. I think because in terms of literary history, in the history of the novel, we like to suffer. We like to read catastrophe. There is something very deeply appealing about following characters that we grow and develop a relationship with, go through all kinds of suffering. Now, there's all kinds of theories about this. Why do you have literature? Why do you watch television, right? Why were soap operas so popular, right? And it has a lot to do with building emotional relationships with fictional characters who go through the heavy-duty shit you don't want to have to face, right? Oh, wow, that's exciting for me. Let it happen to someone else, right? Let someone else's mother die, because I don't want to feel that shit. And so fiction has this role for us of producing catharsis. I mean, the psychoanalysts have all kinds of theories about it, but it has to do with developing what Freud would call a transference. That is, you build an emotional network that is connected with a fictional character, and then as you watch the fictional character go through their stuff, you feel it too. Now, for immigrant families and for immigrant culture, I think we can understand why that story would have a lot of appeal. The pater familias, right, the head of family who wishes nothing but the best for their children, only to live and see this evolution play out in different ways. One, because it's good literature, but two, life is crazy like that. You can wish and you can hope for all the crazy things that you are going through your minds right now. I mean, many of you haven't even thought of having children. But when you get there, don't wish too hard. Sometimes the greatest crisis can be introduced by life giving you what you wish for, right? Yeah. Anyway, we're getting into existential questions that are kind of deep. That's good stuff. All right. So the big problem in The Godfather is this guy, Sollozzo, otherwise known as the Turk, who's Italian and Sicilian, but he's called the Turk because he's associated with opium growers who are having a blast growing opium, producing heroin, what would become heroin, in Turkey, and then having it processed in Sicily. And it's this guy's presence, and it's funny because he's got a white hat, you know. Guy in the white hat's usually the good guy. But this guy's not a good guy. He's the Turk. The Turk, the name the Turk, the Turkish, that person from the space of Turkey in the 70s in the United States would have a kind of negative connotation. The associations would not be universally loved. Oh, he's from Turkey. He's a wonderful person. No. The United States has a history of having dubious attitudes towards people from other lands. So even within the logic of The Godfather, this guy, Sollozzo, the Turk, is a problem. But his biggest problem, and this has to do with the narcoology of The Godfather, is that he is bringing drugs into New York. He's going to bring drugs into the turf owned by the Corleones, and the Godfather, Vito Corleone, wants nothing to do with that shit. It's almost like he's seen the future and he knows that to go into drugs will end mafia relations as we know them. And so a very, very important part of the action to follow. So we're going to go to 3413. Let's see if we can go to 3413. Let's see, do you work? We'll go to 34. Let's start there. Oh, I did not want to do that. Okay, that's the horse. I know. Oh yeah, trigger warning. There's violence in this film. Some of it is pretty upsetting. So if, I'll try and give you a setup, but because this control is not the best, I just want to give you a heads up. All right. Okay, 3413. I knew there was a reason I didn't want to go before 3413. That'll have to do. Nope. I told you I was going to. Come on, baby. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, so this is Tom Hagan, adopted by the Corleones when he was a little boy off the streets of New York City. He's now the consigliere, the advisor to Don Corleone. This is Santino, Sonny, hot-headed, eldest son of Vito Corleone. They've done their research. They're getting together. Sollozzo wants a meeting with the Don. So the Don Corleone's people have gone out and they've done their research. And this is the meeting where they share the research. Sollozzo is known as the Turk.
Supposed to be very good with the knife, but only matters of business, some sort of reasonable. His business is narcotics. He was in country where they grow the poppy. In Sicily, he has the plants to process them for heroin. He needs cash, he needs protection from the police, which he gets. I couldn't find out how much. But the Thalia family is behind him here in New York. Now they have to be in it for something. How about his prison record? 2 terms, when they didn't leave him here. He's known as a top narcotics man. Santino, what do you think? There's a lot of money in that white man. Well, I say yes. There's more money potential in narcotics than anything else we need. Now, if we don't get into it, somebody else will. Maybe one of the 5 families, maybe all of them. Now, with the money they earn, they can buy more police and political power. Then they come after us. Now we have the unions, we have the gambling, and the best things to have. But narcotics, it's a thing of the future. If we don't get a piece of that action, we risk everything we have. I mean, not now, but 10 years from now.
I'll take care of it with that. Why don't I share?
So I receive 30% for finance, political influence, and legal protection. That's what's done.
That's right.
Why do you come to me? Why do I deserve this generosity?
If you consider $1 million in cash, just finance. Salud, Corleone.
I said that I would see because I heard that you were a serious man. Respect. But I must say no to you. And I'll give you my reason. It's true, I have a lot of friends in politics. But they wouldn't be friendly very long if they knew my business was drugs instead of gambling, which they regard as a harmless vice. Drugs is very business. It doesn't make any difference to me what a man does for a living, you understand. But your business is a little dangerous.
If you're worried about security, that the titles will guarantee it.
Are you telling me that the Italians guarantee our investment?
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. Talk when they should listen. Anyway, Senor Salonso, I know it's final, and I wish to congratulate you on your new business. I know you do very well. Good luck with it. Best as is your interests don't conflict with mine. Thank you. Santino, come here. What's the matter with you? I think your brain is going soft. All that comedy playing with that young girl. Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again. Come on. What is this now?
Johnny starring in that new film.
All right. So same thing. Anything you saw in that sequence that is significant. Maybe something you saw there that you didn't see when you first saw the film, when you were screening it in preparation for the class. I love the way Sonny speaks out of turn. You know he screwed the pooch once he opened his mouth, right? You don't break the family line. You never let someone who's talking to the family know that the family has any dispute, because then the circle is broken. Did you have your hand up? No? Did someone have their hand up over here? No. Anything else? It was a very cordial meeting, right? Corporate America, right? Very cordial, very friendly, very nice. Vito says no, right? I'm not going to be able to do business with you, but I wish you luck on your new enterprise, especially since it doesn't conflict with mine. I love that added touch. It doesn't conflict with mine, so good luck. Good luck to you. All of this is very... I had to explain, this idea of anarchaeology is something I've been working on for the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I went to New York University and presented a paper on narcheology, and I was looking at the development of the archetype of the narco, the Mexican or the Colombian version of the mafioso, right? And so it occurred to me that if you're going to go back in time to look at the development of this archetype or this trope, the narco or the mafioso, that they have a history. And because we're in the university, those of us who traffic here, people on the streets don't have to give a shit about this. But for those of us who research, we're interested in the origins of things. So I'd always had a kind of interest in archaeology. So I came up with this idea of a narcheology. Let me see if I have the slide that I had intended to begin with. Hold on. I love that Tumblr lets you look at the archive. Yeah, there they are. Okay. All right. So before I was preparing for this class to look at The Godfather, it occurred to me that there were more recent examples for you. You may have grown up watching The Sopranos. And so The Sopranos, as a show on HBO about a next generation Italian-American crime family, might be fresher in your mind than, say, The Godfather, Vito Corleone. So I happened across this slide, this promo from HBO, and I was really drawn to it, right? The people that redefined family are back, because it's family again. It's that idea of the familia that's at the heart of the show, but also the promotional material for the show. I'm very interested in how Hollywood, how the entertainment industry constructs the stories that it then propagates and profits off of. This is a kind of opium, right? Entertainment is an opium. Hollywood makes a lot of money off of us here. You know, we got Tony Soprano, we've got his dad, we've got the older generation, we've got the up-and-coming generation, we got the misses. The people that redefine family are back. All of this as a way of getting back to the notion of an archaeology. So in order to understand what a word means, is we always go to the Oxford English Dictionary. And I never get tired of telling you students, you get this free. If you're on campus, you just put OED in your browser and hit return, and you're going to go to the best dictionary on the planet, the Oxford English Dictionary. And you can also get to it off campus by logging in through with your Red ID through your campus account. The reason I share this is because it costs thousands of dollars for just a regular Joe Schmo to get access to the Oxford English Dictionary, and you get it for free as part of your fees, and most students don't even know about it. But the thing the Oxford English Dictionary does is it not only gives you the definitions of words, it not only gives you their history, their etymology,